Hi, I'm Joe. Some people call me Warlock Joe, but we all know there are no such things as warlocks. And so I just go by Joe. What I want to talk with you about today is the evil psychic attack on the world I believe has manifested through President Donald Trump. Wait, before you go, hear me out on this. To begin with, what is a psychic attack? Well, I believe it's best defined as the unseen force that manifests when and where you least expect it, with no warning, often for no apparent reason, and usually in one's own home, or in this case, country. A psychic attack usually comes through the invisible. It may be sent by invisible beings, or it may be sent by incarnate beings on this earth. It may be sent by ordinary people thinking negative thoughts, powered by negative emotions, or it may be sent by practitioners of any number of negative traditions, such as Satanism. It might be unleashed by the threefold law, or if you prefer, karma, if one has directed negative work at another person. Thus, a psychic attack can be sent accidentally or on purpose by amateurs or professionals. In any case, it is always initiated by negative energy. Psychic attacks manifest in many forms. Some forms resemble negative hauntings, such as unpleasant smells or sounds, or the attack could manifest as an illness. Even more alarming, the attack could manifest as an uncharacteristic emotion seeming to take over the victim, such as irrational anger, which could harm others as well and endanger the victim's relationships. Traditional form of psychic attack could be an invasion of unwanted bugs, insects, political leaders, etc. It can even manifest as fire or flood of a mysterious cause, usually in a limited area. Another telltale sign of a psychic attack is that the problem won't go away permanently until it is properly diagnosed. Therefore, it will remain in various forms such as manifest destiny, greed, Nazism, to name a few, until it is resolved. Also, whatever the psychic attack, it feeds on feelings of vulnerability and fear, and unlike the Hollywood horror films depict, the victim does not have to be consciously aware of the attack in order to feel its effects. In combating psychic attacks, the uninitiated will usually turn either to science or traditional religion to combat the effects. Science combats psychic attacks by saying they don't exist except in the mind, so take a few pills, get over it, you'll be okay. Traditional religion is much worse. The Judeo-Christian tradition combats it by employing experts, priests or rabbis, who will label the attack as the work of the devil and ritually ask its god to fight off the evil god. In my belief, however, there is no separation of deity versus devil. The goddess and the god include all in their dominion. So anything, even something as awful as psychic attack, still remains under our jurisdiction. Nothing can be blamed on some nefarious counterpart, such as the devil, nor do we believe we have to pit our deities against any other powerful, horrendous being and worry about which one is going to win. I believe that each of us is a perfect manifestation of the goddess and the god, that our own power is equal to the power of whoever might have sent the attack, and that since a misuse of this power could have caused the attack, a rightful use of this power can end the attack. The universal power is basically neutral. The way in which it is used is what makes it seem to be good or evil. Consequently, the way we deal with evil is not to destroy it, but to transform it. Negative energy is transformed to positive energy. Now, what I believe has happened to the world with the unexpected election of Donald Trump and his tribe of evildoers is an evil psychic attack on humankind. I don't know who did it. I don't know if it was Putin. I don't know if it was Russia. I don't know if it was Trump himself or one of his followers. More than likely, I believe it is one of his staff, such as Steve Bannon, who was quoted in the Hollywood Reporter as saying, "Darkness is good. Dick Cheney, Darth Vader, Satan. That's power. It only helps us." Ouch. The darkness Steve Bannon boasts about is lying and cheating to get whatever you want. It is the same evil we have seen time and time again from the dark ages of the Christian church when it put out an edict to convert to Christianity or leave town and die of starvation, to the Nazi gas chambers, to the most recent hate crimes against people of color in the USA. Most historians agree that Nazi Germany happened because for a century the German people were allowed to talk hate about the Jewish people as a joke in politics, books, and newspaper opinions, without being questioned. Hateful terms which likened Jewish people to rats, and hateful governmental policies which did not allow Jewish people to own land in the country of Germany. The hate against a group of people based on their race and religion. The hate that turned Kafka into a bug in his Metamorphosis story, which can be seen as Kafka's first-person account of the hate which he felt from being a Jew in Germany pre-World War II. The same hate which has been blasted here in the U.S., most notably on conservative talk radio since the 80s by such evils as Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity. Yes, conservative shock jocks who originally pretended to be entertainment when caught on their lies. Until they somehow became normalized by the Republican Party because it kept getting them elected. The lies and blaming the less fortunate and independent women for the white man woes is status quo for them. And it is this evil that Donald Trump actually believes. He was a faithful listener and caller to such conservative talk shows as Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity, and by his hate policies, he must believe what they were saying was true. Scary. So what can you do about it? Well, if you are an initiate, you should deal with this as you would any other psychic attack on your home by using words of power. As you are aware, the words of power will bounce the psychic attack back to the sender. Positive power is stronger because it is not burdened with the tappings of the negative, which is ultimately self-destructive. As the I Ching explains, the dark power, in the end, perishes of its own darkness, for evil must itself fall at the very moment when it has wholly overcome the good, and thus consume the energy to which it owed its duration. The I Ching, hexagram 36, 6 at the top. And for the uninitiated, it is really as simple as clearing your mind and either praying or meditating good thoughts to the White House. Imagine it surrounded by a white light and think positive thoughts to Donald Trump in hopes that he'll see the light. Yes, in a lot of ways, it's similar to Charles Dickens' Ebenezer Scrooge. If you remember in that story, no matter how greedy and ugly Scrooge was, Bob Cratchit and Tiny Tim wished him well. I believe it was these thoughts, or prayers if you like, that Charles Dickens wanted us to understand, and how goodwill, even in the most unlikely circumstances, does overcome evil.
You boy, you.
Who, me?
Yes, you. Do you know the butcher's in the next street? What?
I should hope so.
Intelligent boy. Remarkable boy. Tell me, they sold the prize turkey that was hanging there, not the little turkey, the big one?
Does it work? I'll present to you that there's an instance when I saw this work, and you did too if you watched the 2011 Baseball World Series. In that World Series, the Texas Rangers played the St. Louis Cardinals. If you watched that series, you remember that in Game 6, the Rangers were 1 out away from winning the series, and then, out of nowhere, it just fell apart. I believe this was the direct will of most of the people watching. If you remember, they kept showing former President George Bush in the seats directly behind home base. This was the same former President George Bush who had owned the Texas Rangers once, and also the same former George Bush who had lied us into a devastating war which maimed thousands. I live in Dallas, and every time I would see George Bush waiting to celebrate the Texas Rangers win, my support for my home team waned. I think most people watching felt that way too. After all, President George Bush had the lowest popularity rating of any ex-president ever, with the possible exception of Richard Nixon. And so when, with just 1 out to go, and things suddenly fell apart for the Rangers, almost as if, well, a scene out of the television series Bewitched, with Samantha wiggling her nose as the Cardinals came back in the 9th and 10th inning to win after having been 1 pitch away from losing. You do have to wonder. No other baseball team has ever come so close, only to have it fall apart. The Rangers had been 1 out away from winning the World Series, but because the wishes of the people watching were against them, they didn't.
Freeze. hits it in the air to center. We will see you tomorrow night.
So take a deep breath, clear your mind, and see the white light of truth and love surrounding the White House, and watch what happens. Remember to meditate on love and truth. If enough of us do it, miracles will happen.
Well, we won't beat about the bush, my friend. I'm not going to stand this sort of thing any longer. Which leaves me no alternative but to raise your salary.